Hello, ladies. It is Thursday, and sometimes I do these on Thursdays as well. So, Dr. Val back for another Sleephoria mini webinar here today to talk about breath work. So, what is breath work? Really, it's specific breathing practices that can help you shift your state from maybe like fight or flight or freeze into relaxation. So, how does it work? And can you actually breathe yourself into better and faster sleep? Yes, I definitely think so because I've done it myself and I've helped many of my patients do so as well. So, to learn more about how breathing can impact your sleep, continue to watch this video. Thanks so much. So, how do we know that breathing actually works? And so, how do we know anything works? Well, we study it. And so, a lot of the information that I have here today actually just comes from a Google Scholar. Google Scholar is a search engine where it looks up just different articles in the published world of maybe scientific journals about sleep. And so looking into things like breathwork and sleep or just breathing exercises and sleep came up with some pretty cool exercises. And interestingly enough, a lot of them are done in hospitalized patients. So if hospitalized patients who are feeling really sick, maybe they have a lot of pain, maybe can't breathe already, if they can improve their sleep through learning specific exercises, guess what? You can too. Okay, so the first article I looked at talked about people in a medical ICU. And they taught them something specifically called pursed lipped breathing. And so the researchers instructed these patients on how to inhale through their nose, counting to 2, and then exhale as slow as possible, like they're whistling or blowing out a candle. And it was really important for these patients just to really know what was going on with their stomach muscles, right? You want your lungs to inhale as big as possible and then really blow it all out and just watch your stomach muscles relax as well. And in this particular study, right, in the ICU, so really, really sick patients, were taught to do this 10 times in an hour with a few seconds in between. And guess what? Well, you probably already know half of the patients in the ICU, which is pretty wild, right? You go to the ICU, the sickest of the sick folks in the sickest of the sickest patients in the hospital had better sleep quality just by focusing on changing their breathing. Not everybody, but yeah, 50% is a really good number. Another study that I looked at was a randomized controlled trial, right? And anytime we do research, we want to do things that are randomized because we want to discount any sort of biases or potential errors in that. So this one is interesting because not done too long ago. It was in 50 people who didn't have COVID, but it was during the pandemic, right? A lot of us are really worried. We had a lot of fears. We didn't know what was going to happen. Were we going to be in lockdown forever and ever? So this group, these researchers that taught people who joined this program, it's about 50 of them, just a breathing and relaxation exercise to do twice a day, 7 days a week for 4 weeks. I didn't have access to the specific article, but guess what? They probably just did something to slow down their breathing. Breathing can slow down or reduce feelings of fear, anxiety, and improve sleep quality from validated questionnaires. The last article I'll talk about was really interesting to me because it involved something called mindfulness. And I'm pretty sure I have a video already about mindfulness. I think the one about mindfulness and self-compassion. Mindfulness, I think in and of itself is so important. I want everyone to learn about it. If you don't know, go Google what mindfulness is. Look up the work by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn. Join a mindfulness-based stress reduction program. He's got a great book called Full Catastrophe Living. I think it's one of the best titles out there. But can you teach someone how to be mindful and breathe at the same time? And again, this study was done in the hospital with hospitalized patients with insomnia. So people that are already feeling ill and people who are sick and they can't sleep. So what does that say for the rest of us, right? Mindful breathing can help. So what is mindful breathing? I'm just going to read this here. It is a psychological intervention based on the principle of maintaining a constant attitude of non-judgment. Effortlessness, calmness, self-care, self-trust, and acceptance. At the same time, you're observing your breath, right? You're just sitting there breathing, not saying, am I doing this right? I'm doing this wrong. Not judging yourself, just trusting that what your lungs and your brain and your muscles are doing it all for your favor. And during this research study, this guided mindful breathing technique was performed daily And then basically it was done through a nurse hitting play on an audio recording, and the patients listened to it 30 minutes before bedtime. Another thing that was part of this study, which is really cool, is a breathing exercise that included twisting. And at the same time, I didn't know that there were specific exercises that are supposed to be sleep inducing, but I guess twisting your trunk and just really being mindful and focusing about that and trying to keep your inner self still, which I think that in of itself, if you can keep your inner mind still and quiet and focus on your breathing and how your body's moving instead of your to-do list, all the emails you haven't responded to, all the groceries that you're supposed to buy, this, that, and the other, then yeah, that ideally would help someone be able to fall asleep or stay asleep faster. And so it's really interesting because in this group of patients, they're hospitalized, right? They have insomnia, hospitalized for something else. They also were on sleeping pills. And so then the researchers, encouraged them to continue these exercises when they went home. They checked them a week later, a month later, and 3 months later. So after a week, there really wasn't too much of a change in their sleep quality, but definitely after 1 month, even after 3 months. And it was interesting because those are the people who weren't taught these breathing exercises and they were just on sleeping pills. Their scores really didn't change, which is, sort of interesting, right? So breathing can be super beneficial in conjunction with sleeping pills. And if you followed me before, sleeping pills do have their time and place. But if you really want to learn how to improve your sleep quality, you can do so depending on your case without the use of medication, which is really awesome. And I'll leave you with my favorite breathing exercise that was taught to me by Dr. Andrew Weil, who's considered the father of integrative medicine. I went to his integrative medicine fellowship in University of Arizona, which is phenomenal. He invited me and one of my classmates to write a book for his series all about integrative sleep. I hope you check it out. But he talks about the 4-7-8 breathing technique. And really what happens when you start to inhale, so you inhale for 4, you hold your breath for 7, and then you slowly exhale. The real magic or the science is holding that breath and then slowly exhaling, just like pursed lip breathing, right? When you can slow that exhale, it's a way for you to turn on that sympathetic response, which is a relaxation response, which is a response we want to have when you're trying to sleep at night. So let's do it together. You inhale for 4, hold for 7, and slowly exhale for 8. And then you do that 3 more times. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, slowly exhale for 8. Two more. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, slowly exhale for 8. One more time. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, slowly exhale for 8. I don't know about you, but I feel calmer already. And some people call this breathing exercise natural Xanax, right? Xanax is a benzodiazepine that can help slow down your breathing and also help relax you. But what a gift to have to be able to use what you already have with you, right? Your own lungs, your own brain, your own heart, your own body and soul, just to slow down the breath, focus and turn inward, and really be able to fall asleep faster and easier. So this is breathwork in sleep. I didn't talk about yoga nidra because I want to save it for its own special video, but yeah, that should be coming out later this year. So breathwork in sleep, one of the quickest ways to change your state is to slow down your breathing. It works in the ICU. It works during COVID. It can certainly work for you ladies out there. Hope you found this video helpful. Please like and share it with those who could benefit from it. Sleep well, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much.